Greetings, dear viewers, it's low FPS player again. Today we will talk about spears. First of all, my opinion. Spears are a piece of shit. How does anyone even manage to do something with them? You are hitting like you have a wet noodle instead of an actual weapon. You need to simultaneously be near your opponent and not be near him. It's not like it's easy to land everything. All gameplay is hit and run, but you can't even hit. Again, it's my opinion, feel free to state yours in the comments. With that being said, let's move on to the abilities. First of all, the spear stacks. They are generated from your Q ability, they buff your after attack damage, stack up to 3 times, and vanish if you don't get an hour in 8 seconds. In PvE, you should use first Q because it has AoE unlike second one. Also, it's good in PvP because it has slow cooldown, low mana cost, and it slows. Also, its hitbox is weird. Even if you are casted like Q like a second ago, anyone entering that area will still get hit by it. The second Q gives you your stacks right away. Also boosts your attack speed and range. These buffs also last 8 seconds, but it quickly burns your mana, doesn't do damage by itself, and autos can be used only on one target at a time. Anyway, let's move on to W skills. First W, first of spears. You stand still and do damage in front of yourself. Medium cooldown, acceptable mana cost, big AoE damage. But you are standing still for 1.5 seconds, so in PvP its usage is limited. The best PvE ability from this tree. Fourth W, you channel and reflect all incoming damage back to your opponent. Mostly damage over time is unreflectable, while everything else is. But 1 hour Curse E is not reflectable, while Curse stacks and poison pots are reflectable. It has huge uptime compared to other reflect options. You can move while channeling it, also it generates your mana, even more when it takes to use. Obviously, you can't do anything else while you are using it. Completely useless in PvE, situational in PvP. But if it's good in given scenario, it seems busted. Fifth W, Impaler. With a slight delay in target area, it deals damage and slows down your opponent. It has some damage and good range. Its cooldown is not terrible, but it consumes a lot of mana. The strongest W on average won't ever be useless, second best in PvE, so basically it's now your default W. Now let's talk about Ease. 1 hour spear. You dash a bit, deal damage, and anyone hit gets launched in the air for a short time. It has medium cooldown, big mana consumption, the damage depends on number of your spear stacks. It's a simple weapon, you just need to hit and run, so you really need to land everything. And I say it, you need to land everything. Also it's one-handed, so you can take an offhand to your liking. Mostly it is a torch, mist color, taproot or musak, but you will really feel the mana problems with the last one. Pike. I underestimated this weapon quite a lot. The ultimate hits a target, roots it, and can do a lot of damage depending on the number of stacks. Surprisingly, your stacks are not consumed after you use your E, but you need to be almost on top of the target to land it, and it's weak in PvE. But in PvP it's really great, yeah. I would recommend the build from my video. Second Q to not ever lose your stacks, first W to do some more damage after using E, and Assassin's Shoes to get close to the opponent. Glaive. Easily the worst weapon from this tree. Its ult moves the target behind you. The damage is non-existent. It has your average cooldown. At least it doesn't hit your stacks, yeah. Actually, I have an idea. Make it stun if you shove the target into a wall, like with Duskwear boots. Absolutely terrible in both PvE and PvP. The Heron Spear. It's just great. It throws a spear in the target direction which deals damage and stuns on hit in a small area. It has a 20 seconds cooldown, same as a 1 hour spear. It allows you to deal damage on distance and even enables the first W. Also it's one-handed, so you can take, for example, Leading Cane for extra CC and cooldown, or anything with the needed stats. Please note, if you hit a random rabbit instead of intended target, you won't get any refund. But it's still good for both PvE and PvP. Spirit Hunter. Do you remember Wailing Bow? Now it's him again, but with damage over time and damage reduction. So you are throwing an arrow spear in the target direction. introduces armor and does some damage. Also it leaves a big trail, which does damage over time and decreases magic resistance. Because why not, I guess? It has a big cooldown, but does a lot of damage, making it the best in PvE. But it's second worst in PvP, because people won't just stand there and eat all the damage in their face. Trinity Spear. It was a popular choice back then. The grass was greener and Albion was easier. But now it's rather rare. E allows you to jump on medium distance, you are immune to damage and CC while in the air, and you do damage on landing in big AoE. You root your enemies and create a long-lasting field which increases your attack, movement and cooldown speed, and also your allies if you have some. In total it does a lot of damage due to all the buffs, but it has a long cooldown. Mid in PvE, decent in PvP. Second Q is almost mandatory. I really don't get the decline in the usage rate, it's really strong. Daybreaker, the last one-handed spear. Its E dashes in the target direction, putting buffs and doing damage to anyone in your way. Has a bit long cooldown, medium damage and mana usage. You are immune to CC while you are charging, don't consume stacks and don't need them to do full damage. But the dash itself is slow and has a cast delay, so enemy can dodge, you'll still steal after the dash for a bit. So basically it's a one-handed spear with its own pros and cons. Mid at PvE, and I consider it quite weak for PvP. Now let's talk about Rift Glaive. It's E. You do damage in a big area after 0.4 seconds and knock back a little anyone you hit. This is the biggest damage button from the whole tree. However, the damage depends on your stacks. It consumes a lot of mana and has a big cooldown. It does well in both PvE and PvP because of big AoE and damage. But the weapon costs a lot and offers no real mobility. Talking about builds were unclear, because almost every spear has different playstyle and different demands. For the pike it's assassin shoes, one-handed spear needs stalker hood, and almost on every spear mercenary jacket is good option for consistency. Talking about passives, I always liked taking lifesteal. The only exception was the Trinity Spear, where the attack speed passive gives more value. For the food I recommend Ava Stew as always. Also you can take Purmist, Snapper or Roast Pork as the budget option. In this case you will be tankier and brawl better, but you'll do less damage and won't regenerate as fast outside of combat. For the potions I recommend Invis as always, but you can bring Health Potion or Giant for swap. That's all for today.